Okay, we are recording this on March 27th, which is 1 month exactly uh, before the NFL draft. The Carolina Panthers are on the clock. I think we're still pretty confident who they're going to, or at least we think we know who they're going to pick number one, being CJ Stroud. Mark, do you still feel good about that for the Panthers?
Yeah, I think Stroud will be the guy, but the signing of Andy Dalton provides flexibility to where whoever you draft doesn't necessarily have to start day one. The reason I say this, Anthony Richardson at the combine a few weeks back absolutely tore it up, and it's his pro day this week. So we'll see what he can do yet again, where he's going to be very impressive because he's 240 plus and he moves like he's like 200 pounds flat. And so when
Hmm.
you're running a 4.40 and you're 240 pounds and you have the running ability, it's kind of like a guy named Cam Newton all the way back in the day. But really, what it does in the modern NFL with a mobile quarterback is it holds defenses accountable playing 11 on 11 because you have to account for a quarterback's running ability. My point being, Lewis, I think Stroud will be the guy, but you can turn over all rocks and you can absolutely swing for the fences and draft the quarterback with the highest upside because you now have a veteran quarterback that can at least right the ship, whether that's, hey, we're going to have you as a backup to mentor this young rookie who's going to start right away, or if the rookie's not ready, you can start the red rifle week one of the 2023 season at quarterback and at least get competent to decent quarterback play.
Yeah, I think at this point it's like, I mean, I think it's tiers, right? I think CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, either one of those guys, I think will have success in the NFL. I do think sometimes the outliers, so like a Bryce Young and his height, that is a problem and something you definitely think about. Ultimately, though, I think, and this may sound wild because like you just look at what the Panthers have been like offensively for the past few years or so. I just really think that um, they have the potential to really have a nice like brain trust, if you will, of offensive masterminds in that building right now. Whether it be Frank Reich, Jim Caldwell, Josh McCown, there are a lot of people to come in and mentor whoever the pick is. I still think it's gonna be CJ Stroud. I think it just fits everything that they got going on. But let's move on from that first pick though, and instead
Okay.
look at what they do with the rest of the NFL draft because they have, I believe, 5 more picks. They're going to have less because of the trades they made. Their next pick, I believe, is pick number 39. To me, it feels like at some point in time in the draft, you never want to be like, okay, second round, we're definitely going to pick this position. You want to be able to let the board come to you and go with that. But I do think that they need to get a wide receiver sooner rather than later, someone who can come in there and pair with Adam Thielen. And I'm curious, any idea, Mark, from you? Is there someone who jumps off to you to be like, hey, Panthers, go get this guy?
Well, if you're going to go with CJ Stroud, I mean, you might have to trade up to get, say, a Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith, and the Jigba. But how about pairing two college teammates together? And we see this happen all the time in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Alabama teammates. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, LSU teammates. That's a trend we're seeing consistently in the NFL. I would love to see the Panthers do the exact same thing because they had all the success in the world in college. And I mean, honestly, CJ Stroud might go to an NFL roster. Say the Panthers draft him. You could make the argument that his Ohio State receivers were more talented than the roster he would inherit if he gets drafted by the Panthers. And that's not a
Sure.
hyperbole either, Lewis.
No. Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, were right there
Yep.
neck and neck competing for offensive rookie of the year last year. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to be bad enough to get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year because I think he's going to be top 5 pick. If you can trade up for Njigba, I mean, I think that would be a great if you can.
And
The Panthers have shown that they are willing to make moves in terms of trading up, and I mean, obviously with the first round pick, but also just during the course of the draft. I think though part of the reason why they are trading away DJ Moore is that they see a lot of potential with some of the second day picks at wide receiver. And then it just kind of depends on what they want, what kind of what they're looking for in terms of how it fits into their system. Like, I was just at UNC's pro day earlier, and Josh Downs ran, he did a bunch of receiver drills with Antoine Green and Drake May. He did some agility testing. things like that. Talk with some more teams. He actually he said that after the workout, he was going to have a meeting with the Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer was there, the new Cowboys offensive coordinator. But Downs I think is great, and he said that what he has been told is he's going to be a prospect that's going to get picked in the top 50. He's been told like he's looking around that 25 to 50 range, which would work for the Panthers. But then it just kind of becomes, okay, do you want the fit of Josh Downs? He does not like to be described as small. He said that earlier today. He is a shorter receiver. He officially measured in at about 5'9" at the pro day today. So, but he's explosive. He's fast. He's agile. He can be someone who can really come in there. So do you want him? Do you want someone who maybe is a little bit bigger, like a Jalen Hyatt type? I think Jalen Hyatt might be available when you have that second pick, kind of depending on how the first round falls. So you got top end speed there, really good agility. He's someone who is higher up in terms of prospects, and I think it'd be really interesting to pair him with and Adam Thielen. He's above 6 foot, so he's got a little more size than Josh Downs. I don't know. I think you just kind of keep on going down the list, and there are a lot of receivers that you can bring in on that day 2 with a second or third round pick. Maybe even get one there and then get one in day 3 and just kind of start beefing up that wide receiver room. Cedric Tillman at Tennessee is someone who I really like. He's got a lot of size that isn't as necessarily like top end speed fast, but has shown a capability. He's older, so if you want to shy away from that, that could be something to watch. Antoine Green, he ran.
Speedster.
He's got some good speed on him. He said today one of the big things he wanted to prove with his route running is his ability to kind of move in and out of intermediate routes, get his shoulders nice and low, and work from there. So he looked great, and I think a lot of people were impressed with him. I think he's worth a flyer if you're the Panthers. It's interesting. You got to continue to beef up that offense and go for the best positions available. But once I get past that first round, if I'm the Panthers, I just want to go for the best players available.
Absolutely.
You have some holes, but just don't force yourself into getting someone. That's how I view it if I'm the Panthers.
Yeah, and you're going to have to fill the void left by DJ Moore now that he's a member of the Bears, Lewis. And the reason I mention the Ohio State receiver, is it Njigba Smith? The reason I mention him, I know he had like a hamstring injury. So my point being is that could potentially force him to fall later in the draft than he normally otherwise would. You mentioned Josh Downs and a potential pairing with the Panthers as well. I would love the trash talk, friendly trash talk between teammates, because you'd have Downs, who's the UNC receiver, and then last year's first round pick, Ike Ekwonu, along the offensive line. There could be some fun shenanigans in the locker room talking of which triangle team is superior if the Panthers do in fact, if they do in fact draft Josh Downs. And Downs, back-to-back seasons, high level of production with 2 different quarterbacks too. You had obviously Drake May this past season and Sam Howell, who has started an NFL game. Like that is an incredible feat to be able to do that as a rookie in this league. So having high production back-to-back years when defenses are keying in on you and still being able to get it done. One final thought I had to Antoine Green. I don't always look at collegiate production because it doesn't always translate to the league. But when I see his the length of each average reception when he's getting about 20 yards per catch, it's like 2 first downs every time he catches the ball on average. That goes a long way to be able to move the sticks, move the ball down the field in the league. That's something that stuck out to me with Antoine Green this past season for the Tar Heels as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for the Panthers because essentially because you traded up and you've gotten rid of some draft picks this year, next year, you just kind of put yourself in a position where you have to make every draft pick count. It's going to be harder to a miss in the NFL draft is going to impact you more this year than it would have in years past. So just you got to keep on hoping you draft well if you're a Panthers fan and see what you can do to surround that number 1 pick, presumably CJ Stroud. He is the betting favorite still. Surround him with weapons, with a good defense and things like that to make a run at the NFC South. Because ultimately, I do think that's what this is all leading to, is the Panthers can make a run at the NFC, a weak NFC South division, try and win that division this year.
Yeah, 139.93, 114, 132, and 145. Those are all the Panthers picks this season. So you trade a lot of them away, but if they strike gold and get the right quarterback, Lewis, I don't think any of that will matter. And that's the premium that you have to pay for the quarterback position in this league. So that's what everyone's going to focus on. And listen, I already know. What are you, a men's medium? We can start printing out the CJ Stroud jerseys now, Lewis. We can start getting them ready now.
I wish I was a men's medium, Mark. I appreciate where your mind's at, though. Thank you.